show you how to build a temporary raised bed using the temporary construction method of many of our indigenous ancestors. It's a temporary construction method because we don't use any mortar. We simply use the weight of the material because we know that we're going to reuse the same material to build our greenhouse, our temporary mini greenhouse, when the weather changes, all right, or before the weather changes. Everything is about planning in advance. So if you know you're about to plant, you build one of these very quickly, and believe me, it's very quickly, because if you're like me and most other so-called Americans, you don't have a lot of time to spend in the garden, all right? Even though nowadays I do tend to spend a lot of time in the garden because it's my temple, if you will. But in the early years, I didn't spend a lot of time in the garden, all right? So what we're going to do is, what we're going to demonstrate for you is how quick it is, how easy it is to deconstruct this structure. And then we're going to reconstruct it, all right? I always say that while gardening, you don't need a gym membership. You're going to find that to be true. I don't do any exercise other than gardening. So just like that, we deconstructed our raised bed. Now you may have thought that that's a small raised bed, but in a similar raised bed, we have on the other side one cherry tomato plant, and we showed you how big that thing is. It's a monster. It's enough space for that. It's enough space for a cherry tomato plant, then it's also enough space for all of these herbs in here, not together, but you could get about 4 herbs in that little area, and they'll grow prolifically. What else we have over there? Cucumbers. We got 4 cucumber plants in a container this size, all right, which is a little bigger than this. But we also have some collard greens. We got some peanuts. You name it, we got it in a container like this. So we deconstructed it. Now we're going to reconstruct it. So just as little time as it took to deconstruct it, it'll take maybe a little more time to reconstruct it. And this is in real time. I'm speeding up the video. Doesn't have to be perfect. The benefit to using the cinder blocks is that you don't have to use any tools, any mortar, any of that stuff, any adhesive. The weight is going to hold it together. The weight of the cinder blocks is going to hold it together. And there you have it. It's that quick. It's that simple. All right. So this container is 22 inches, and it does not fit inside of it. We use containers to grow food, but there's limitations to this container. We're going to do another video very shortly to show you that the cherry tomatoes that we have growing in this container, they're not growing as much as the cherry tomatoes that we have growing in the cinder block temporary raised bed. Alright, so this is the technique of many of our indigenous ancestors. Temporary building technique. That's all it is. So you can reconstruct it, deconstruct it, use these same materials somewhere else like we're going to do in the winter, before the winter, to build our mini greenhouse. There's so much you can do with this. How did I get all these? Do I have a truck? Did I have it delivered in? No. There's a scripture, a Buddhist scripture, that states, inch by inch makes the 6-foot Buddha. Alright. What that says to me is that with each little step, it moves you towards your goal. You don't get to your goal though, however, if you're not taking any steps. So you take little baby steps. In my little sedan, in the trunk, I can get 8 of these. That's how I know 8 works. I can get 8 of these in my trunk without damaging my car. I have moved more than 8, but if you got a little car like me, don't try to move more than 8. All you need is 8, and you simply need to plan. So if you know you're going to garden next year, every couple weeks buy 8. Move them, stack them somewhere in the yard, on the property, wherever you're going to be gardening, on the driveway, or even on the balcony, ladies and gentlemen. This is on the driveway. Anything you can do on a driveway, you can do on a cement balcony. Alright, the problem might be the weight issue. So instead of having a 9x3 raised bed like we have here on the end of our driveway, that's 9 feet by 3 feet. You might not be able to do that. That might be too much weight after you get all the soil in there, plants start growing, water, and the cinder blocks. Might be too much weight. If you live on a terrace level though, on the ground level, however big your terrace is, minus maybe a foot or 2, so you can maneuver around it. You could actually build one of these on the terrace level of your apartment or condo. And it's temporary. So if the owners or homeowners association comes in and tells you gotta move it, you know, it may be a pain to you, but you could actually move it with no problem. Again, it's temporary. You can move it, deconstruct it, reconstruct it again next year. This structure that we have here, we converted into a mini greenhouse by simply raising a few of the cinder blocks, using a few 2x4s, using plastic that you can get from Dollar General, Family Dollar, I don't know what y'all got in y'all area, but trust me, plastic is about $2. Alright, and the plastic we've been using and reusing for multiple things. That plastic is going to protect most of your plants in a temporary greenhouse as long as you have it in a sunny location. Alright, so that was our temporary building technique that we used to build our raised bed. Go back and look at how long it took or how little time it took to build it. This has been Dr. Peace.